Hi, this is David Hughes with another video for Genealogy Basics. I'm going to start a series of videos focused on the iPad. This is started because a student has a situation where they don't have access to a Mac or a PC, and their iPad is their sole device for doing genealogy research. So I'm going to address this and go through the different things you need to do to make genealogy research possible. We're going to go through a few things, and let me just move on here first. If you want some nice videos and extensive videos for how to use the iPad, here's where you want to go. MacMost YouTube videos are terrific. He has a huge following. He has huge amounts of content. Alternatively, I found this one site, Learn with Feld. It's a very small site, few followers, but he puts together his content real well and is very clear to follow. Look at both of those. MacMost, there's so much content, it might just be hard to find exactly what you want. And then there's websites. MacMost also has a website, it has a lot of content and articles. And then iPhone Life magazine has a lot of videos about the iPhone, but you can apply that to the iPad just as well. They do have a separate section just on the iPad. If you're using the iPad, you don't need to go out and buy a lot of other programs. They have free programs available. And what we're going to do is take a look at them real quick. I have them set up here. The Google versions are doc sheets and slides. I've occasionally used docs and sheets, but on the iPad here, and the reason why I would favor using these iPad apps is that they are set up to store their files on iCloud and get backed up automatically. But they're free, and I'll open up Pages. It's Word. Here's a citations written for Harriet Wilder. Numbers is a spreadsheet. I don't really have anything here. Numbers is a spreadsheet. I don't have anything in here. But it's just a spreadsheet, so you could keep notes and do work in a spreadsheet here. And notes is, the equivalent of PowerPoint. One good thing here is that you can, if you do doc setup, you can change the orientation if under slide size, and you can see I can change to a different look here. And the nice thing about PowerPoint or the keynote is when you go back up here and do export, unlike Word, it has options to output a slide as an image. So this is a place where you could do put together some information or a collage and then export it as a image. So that's real useful to know that this is the place to go do that, and has a lot more tools for dealing with images than like Word or Pages. Next, let's talk about backups. You need to make sure that you have your content backup. You don't want to lose all your research. So let me go through the most important, which is going into your settings, and then you click on this top box, and that has your name on there. You want to go to iCloud, and when you go into iCloud, you go into iCloud Backup, and you want to make sure this is on. Now, while we're in here, we'll go back, and this also shows you what's stored in the cloud. your backups, your photos, messages, any other apps that are Apple apps, they will have some path to backing up in here. Now, this isn't actually backing up the apps themselves because they just assume you can download those again. But iCloud has other things, many different storage things. And what you don't see in here is iCloud Drive, that we'll come and look at later, is a subset of this iCloud storage. So when you buy storage for iCloud, I started at 5 gigabytes and that ran out quickly. I use about the 50 gigabyte plan. That's $1 a month. And it's been fine for me. Now, if you're a primary iPad user, you might have to invest in more storage. But don't buy more than you need. Just monitor this, and when you get up close to using, then you can upgrade. So what's real important to know is that iCloud backup does not back up every single file on your iPad. So if it's non-Apple products, or if it's the internet browser, downloads by the internet browser, more than likely it's being put into a place that just isn't being backed up. So this is real important when you're working on these, downloading from these major record repositories. Here you're saving all this important information. You need to make sure it gets saved someplace that's getting backed up. Or you can save your downloads in a few different places. One is in the photo library, iPhotos. That might be okay. If you use albums, you could organize your work and be able to access that. I don't like that. I'm going to show you today using iCloud Drive. iCloud Drive is a subset of the cloud storage that you pay for. iCloud Drive is sort of the structured file saving aspect of iCloud. And that we'll take a look at that. And then the other things is that you could go with third-party services. Google Drive is popular. Dropbox, very popular. If you're not invested in Microsoft products on the iPad, I wouldn't use OneDrive, but OneDrive, because I have all the Microsoft products, and that's because I work on the PC. I like to work on these different platforms. And my career, I use Microsoft products. I just stuck with it, and I didn't change out. I am invested in OneDrive, but it doesn't really matter. Look at the different features of these, how much it costs for the features. Some of these have file recoveries that are up to 120 days. That's usually an added investment. And then we'll take a look at, come and look at iCloud in more detail. But if you don't have a Mac or PC, and we'll talk about if you have a Mac or PC in the house, maybe it's not yours, but somebody else that could allow you to use it to do some stronger backup strategies. I would strongly consider having a second cloud service that maybe is just stripped down bare service that's all it is for storage and not so much for synchronizing between different platforms. And in this storage, you keep different versions of your backups because iCloud, the main reason why you want to do that is synchronize files between devices. Secondarily, it's for storage. And yes, they have a system where it keeps some of your files. And if you accidentally delete a file, make sure it's available, but you can recover previous versions of your files up to a certain amount of days. And same with deleting. But this does not protect you from a corrupt file. If somehow along the way a file gets corrupted, and maybe cloud services are better at avoiding corruption, But you should have snapshots of your most important files that, especially if you haven't gone through them and made sure they're all A-OK. Maybe you have several months, maybe every few months, and then once a year, you just make sure you have a yearly backup that you can go back and find old photographs. At least that's the way I've been doing it. And that's really on the most critical files, the most valuable files, your family photographs, your family history research. Anyway, enough about that. Going on, I won't go into backup strategies, but this is sort of the rule of thumb for everybody. If you can have access to a Mac or PC at home, they advise having 3 backups on at least 2 types of media, and a cloud would be one, like an external drive would be a second, and then having 1 backup that you store off premises, so that periodically, that way if you have a fire or something catastrophic, you have a backup in a different location that hopefully is not impacted by that catastrophic event. So so I've gone through those different things. So let's go into using the iPad to organize your files. So I have other videos that go through how to organize your files, but let me just show you quickly this program that's called Files. And let me go back here. If you don't have this icon here, you can find it in different ways. I'm using iOS 15.7.1 at the time of this recording. If you go and hit right here, this bundle, this is the app library. You can type Files at the top, and it'll bring up this program. Or if you just sweep down with your finger on the screen in between the icons, a little search box will come up. Type in Files. That's another way to open it. And you could use Siri and just say Open Files app. It will launch this. So anyway, you get started in here. If you're going to do a lot of work, you should have it up there on your home, that bar, or at least on your front home page. You can alter everything in here, edit sidebar, and then you can turn off what services. Like I don't use Google Drive anymore for storage, so it's turned off. And these are other ones I am demonstrating, iCloud, and I have some stuff in Dropbox. Most of my stuff is in OneDrive. But we're going to be looking just here at iCloud Drive. What we're going to do is just show you that you can create a new folder. And we'll just call this Family Tree New. And you just click on it and you go in there. Now let's go back. You have different ways of viewing all of this. You can look at an icon view. Some people prefer this look. I like list. And we'll come back to list because that's the way I like it. The other way is to use columns. And when you look at a column, it brings up the next set of subfolders over here, and you can dig down deeper. Again, some people really like that. I don't like it. I like to go with a list, and this shows you the last folder that you were in. We're in that iCloud Drive. So let's start building a tree. So you can do Wilder, Harriet, 1843. Okay, that's the year she was born. Now, if you come back here and just, let's say you renamed it incorrectly, you hold your finger down on the name and you get all these different options to rename it. I personally don't use the compression, but that is an option. Tags, you can change the color and tag these files differently, maybe most important files, change the color. You can copy, share, and move these. But, for instance, we want to add Henry Wilder, and maybe we duplicate it, click on this, and then rename it. Give it a second there. And so we can change that to, maybe this isn't the fastest, but I just want to show you how this works. Okay. Easy to show you. I can add some more folders, and then if I want a subfolder, I click on that and add it in here. So this might be my downloads for Harriet Wilder. Okay, so there. That just shows you the basics, how to create folders. Thank you, and we're going to see you in class.